Hello, so today we will learn how to simplify fractions. So before we can learn how to simplify fractions, we need to know what does simplest form mean. Simplest form means that we cannot further divide the numerator and denominator of a fraction by the same number. So for example, let's look at these three fractions here. The first fraction is half. Can we divide 1 and 2 by any other number so that we can get a smaller whole number for our numerator and denominator? No, we can't. What about 1/4? Can we divide 1 and 4 by any other number so that we get smaller whole numbers for our numerator and denominator? No, we can't. And what about 2/5? We also can't. So in this case, half, 1/4, and 2/5 are all in simplest form. And when we simplify fractions, we are trying to put fractions in the simplest form. Let's look at some questions. So let's say we want to simplify some fractions. For example, let's simplify 4/10. Okay, so when I simplify a fraction, I want my numerator and denominator to both be divided by the same number so that I get a smaller number in my numerator and denominator. Okay, so if I were to use my manipulative, so if I use my fraction bars here, okay, first let me put 4/10. What I want to do is to basically get fewer pieces. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, and I want to get fewer pieces such that it is still the same length. So, do you think if I use 1/12, I will be able to get fewer pieces? No, because 1/12 is smaller than 1/10. So to make it the same length, I will need more pieces. So I should be looking at fractions that have a smaller denominator than 10. So let me start with 1/8. Okay, so remember they have to be the same length. Okay, so I can't get it to be the same length if I use 1/8. So I know 1/8 cannot be used here. Okay, now let's try 1/6. Nope, it still cannot get it the same length. So I'll try 1/5 now. Okay, so I managed to make it the same length. So in this case, I will write 4/10 is equal to 2/5. Okay, now let's try a different question. Okay, let's get let's try to simplify 3/6 instead. So now I will need 3 pieces of 1/6. Okay, I want to simplify. So remember, I need fewer pieces. And just now we mentioned that to get fewer pieces, you need larger larger fractions, which means that smaller denominator. So let's try 1/5 first. Okay, no. I cannot get them to be the equal length. 1/4. Okay, I managed to get it the same length. Okay, now I need to check, is the answer I obtained the simplest form? So just now we had 2/5, right? Can 2 and 5 divide by another number such that I get smaller whole numbers for my numerator and denominator? No, the only number I can divide by is 1. But if I divide by 1, I'll still get back the same fraction. So this is the simplest form. Okay, now let's check for 2/4. Can 2 and 4 divide by the same number to get even smaller numbers for my numerator and denominator? Actually, I can. So let's try to use our manipulatives to find the simplest form. So I need even fewer pieces. Okay, now I have 2 pieces, so I need 1 piece. Okay, let's try. Does 1/3 work? No, it doesn't work, right? It's not the same length. Ah, okay, I see that half works. So the simplest form is half. 1 and 2 cannot divide by any other number to give me smaller numbers in my numerator and denominator. So this is the simplest form. Let's try one more fraction. Okay, now I have 8/12. Okay, so I need to take 8 pieces of 1/12. Six, 7, 8. Okay, now I have 8/12. And I want to find the simplest form. Okay, as mentioned just now, we need to look at fractions with denominator smaller than 12. Okay, so now I have 8 pieces, so I want less than 8 pieces. Let's try. Okay, this doesn't work, so it means I shouldn't be using 10 as my denominator. Let's try 1/8 now. I can't get it to be the same length either, so I'll put this back. Okay, I'll try 1/6. Oh, they look like they're the same length. So let me write this down first. I have 4 pieces of 1/6, which means this is 4/6. Okay, now let's check. Is 4/6 in the simplest form? Can 4 and 6 divide by any other number such that my numerator and denominator is smaller? Actually, it can, which means that I need to continue. Let's try 1/5 now. Nope, it doesn't work. Let's try 1/4. Nope, it also doesn't work. Let's try 1/3. Okay, I managed to get it to be the same length. So I'll write 2/3. Let's see, is 2/3 in the simplest form? Can 2 and 3 divide by any other number to give me smaller numbers in my numerator and denominator? No, right? The only possible answer is 1, which gives me the same fraction. So this is in the simplest form. Now, do you see a pattern? How do I get the answer in simplest form? Okay, so for the first one, how do you think I can get from 4 to 2 and from 10 to 5? If you realize, it's actually the opposite of getting equivalent fractions. In this case, we divide our numerator and denominator by 2. Okay. For the second one, there doesn't really seem to be a way to get from 3/6 to 2/4. But how do we get from 3/6 to our simplest form, which is half? So actually, I don't need to go to the second step. I can go directly from 3 to 1 and 6 to 2. How do I do that? I will take 3 divide by 3 to get to 1 and 6 divide by 3 to get to 2. So I can remove this part such that it's just 3 divided by 3 to get 1, 6 divided by 3 to get 2. Similarly, for the last equation, I can remove the one in the middle and go straight to 2/3. And how do I get 2/3? I take 8 divided by 4 and 12 divided by 4. Okay, so it's as similar as equivalent fractions, but it's actually the opposite because instead of multiplying, we are dividing. Okay, if you notice, 8/12, there was a way to get 4/6, right? Instead of going directly to 2/3. So for example, like just now, I got this at first. And when I got this, actually what I did was I divided my numerator and denominator by 2. So if you can't get into this situation, please do not panic. We realize we need to simplify again. We can just continue on. Okay, so it doesn't matter how our answers end up. Even if it comes out like that, it is still correct because we ended up with the simplest form here. Or if we are able to do it in one step, that is also fine because we can divide 4 directly to get 2/3. Okay, and remember we have to divide our numerator and denominator both by the same number. Okay, so we should have 2 arrows.